And we're live on a moon day. I am the goddess of the moon, the high priestess Phoenix. I am your spiritual healer, teacher, shaman, seer, oracle, lightworker, starseed, earth angel, mystic, medium, psychic, witch, yogi, guru, messenger of God, the first child of God, the Lilith reincarnated, here on a moon day. Hey, I used to tell people I was the goddess of the moon, but first off, you don't even know what a goddess is, so I stopped saying that shit. I stopped saying that. I could list that goddess. I am the goddess this, that, and the other. I am. I know who the hell I am. Who the hell are you? I could say that, but it just doesn't. But the more you get to know me, the more you understand that I really am. When you understand what the moon energy is and what it represents, the divine feminine and blah 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 blah. And all the great stories and shit. Yeah, that's me. Hi, my name is High Priestess Phoenix. What's up, what's up? In order to keep up with me, you wanted to see what I just posted on my community page, and I guess the shit from last night. Damn, that was some good shit, right? Dude, these be hardcore, and I'm so good at being fluid about it, you know? And that's exactly what I wanted to start this video with. That's what I was laughing about. It's like, let me explain what it means to befriend your demons. Where you sit and have a great old conversation with them. Your shadows, right? Or that's what they call it, is, the bad parts of you. So they're deemed ugly, and they have this, they have this shadowy part to them. They're all mystic and shit. No, they're just parts you don't share with everyone. My shadow parts, dude, people love my shadows because they've witnessed them. You know what I mean? They witnessed the raw evolution of my feelings evolve. Your shadows are your feelings. It's just experiences. It's just another layer to you that nobody knew existed. You know what I mean? And realistically, my whole life is a fucking shadow. So they find it very captivating because a shadow is something of shame, embarrassment. You know what I mean? It just brings up the worst of feelings, and you wish you didn't even know and nobody else knew, and you wish it would just go away. But it's a part of you, right? And then when you heal it, dude, you literally just be sitting with those parts having great old conversations. Like this morning, I was like, yeah, I'm still clowning that bitch. I'm still clowning her. It does not matter that I cried for you and that I fucking feel for you. I'm still clowning you today because you're the same weak motherfucker today. That's what I mean. Your demons come together. You mean Pac? You mean my antagonizers? Kobe? These influencers that push me into my dark sides and try to bring the worst out of me, which is actually some of my best parts. Yeah, I know them. They have names and stuff. Yeah, we totally sit down, In the beginning, when these parts and these memories and these thoughts come into your head, you're like, oh, no, I don't want to think about it. Oh, God. Right there, dude. I thought about my ex-husband. You give me an I'm gonna gag sensation when I think about you. It literally comes from underneath my belly button, so that would be my sacral chakra, like from my insides, dude. You make me want to gag. In the essence, though, I got 2 kids that look just like him running around like like he don't exist. I saw this funny meme too. It's like me running away from my toxic ex and forgetting that he's the father of my children. I was like, dude, I can't run farther. He looks just like you, bro. Like, they look just like you, bro. It's little versions of you running around my house. And that's what I tell them all the time. And them and their toxic ass traits. I was like, you didn't get that from me. I don't act like that. I own all my shadows. That's not me, bro. You got that from your dad. That fucked up period? For sure. That's me. Those big ass boobs? For sure. That's me. That fucking mouth? That's me. All all that weak shit? That's him. But it had to balance out. You needed some femininity and all that masculinity. And that's the truth, too. Damn, he was a bitch, bro. My brother, I can see my brother, all the clowning my brother ever did right now. My brother would clown the shit out of him. Oh, shit. And I'd just be sitting there like, I don't know. He'd say something so fucking stupid, so fucking ignorant, so fucking stupid. And my brother, which, he's not the type to he would, but he couldn't because he knew it wasn't appropriate that I might fucking jump him for jumping my man. So he'd be like, wow. He's like, dude, Christian ain't really got it all together. I'm like, what you telling me? In essence, it's like, oh man, I lose all credibility when you look at this guy. But the truth is like, that guy was perfect for me. He was a total bitch, and I was a total dude, and it just worked out. I had a way to exert my, you know what I mean? I wish I could say it was dominance, but at least, it was a place of, it was definitely a place of codependency as far as the roles that were played as I was needed and, all of this shit. But in the essence, no, it's a whole ass fucking kid. I raised a whole man, bro. And I did my best. I did way better than his mother did and his father. They all neglected him. So in essence, and that goes back to the first husband. He was actually pretty smart. He got fucked off doing his own drugs. He wasn't an idiot. He was very intelligent. He could hold a good conversation. He loved to read. He was a Sagittarius like me, so there's got to be underneath all of that mushy mush. He was only 2 days away from me. So he had to be very much like me in the sense of, what that is, but I don't know what that is, like what he is. There's another one. Talk about, dude, he never had a chance. I block him any. Should write a book on baby daddies and how I treated. Dude, I'm so not going to talk to them. Like, not ever. I'll do it, like, in Oklahoma, dude. I had to, like, literally look at my kids and be a good mother and be like, and I always do for my kids. But when she said no, bro, it was a go, dude. It was like a go, like, yes, you were free. Like, they wanted to see him at times. They really did. They really wanted to have that. They had this desire, this curiosity, I would say, most definitely. And that would put me in a position where, I have all power, and it's like, so I kept putting my kids in him and his family's lives and shit like that. But anyways, talking about a fucking shadow. Now I could sit here and let my Holy Spirit make fun of me dating such a pussy and understanding that I needed that. My brother used to say I needed a man to hold me down, and I used to be like, I think it's the opposite, bro. I needed a guy to push around. In my unhealed state, I'm being all transparent. And that's it too. It's like, you don't talk about yourself like that. You don't really do accept the sides that are not so lovely. Hey, bro. My dominance is extremely sexy to the weak. It's only intimidated to someone that's always trying to exert their own dominance. And that's that masculinity card. It's like, when two masculines come together, when two alphas come together, there's going to be, an omega. Yeah, that was a good one. Write that down, Holy Spirit. I'm using that. So it's like that. It's like, I'm sitting there, I'm like, I'm trying to be nice. Bitch, you ain't nice. I know, but I'm trying. I'm working on it. I could be. I don't know if I'm not. I know that I usually am not, but I think I can do this. I'm pretty nice to everybody else. There's just certain people I don't like to be nice to. So says God. That's what it means to accept your shadows, dude. Just sit there and hold yourself, and all of that. Like, so in the video last night, my inner child comes out completely. And I'm like, oh, I'm so embarrassed to be this old, having this happen right now. But these are real thoughts, and I have to ask the collective, were you afraid? You know what I mean? It's like and that's it. It's like in any moment you can see the wise me, and you can see, the child me, and that was totally it. The child me has not had sex. The adult me is like, I'm gonna smash you, bro. I'm gonna fucking ride you till the sunset. My brain, my fucking ego, bro, it's like, dude, I'm gonna suck you dry. This is gonna be the best night of your life. But then you think, and then there's the inner child of me is like, I'm gonna pop my cherry, I'm gonna cry, I'm gonna black out, oh my God, it's gonna be the worst thing ever. And that's, they're all parts of you. These are all very real parts of you that you need to integrate and put together in the sense of, you can't be like Pac and be like, the ego comes in and say, don't be a bitch. No, I'm scared. Don't be a bitch. Keep in mind, I've always had that fucking part of me is the most dominant part in my brain. Don't be a bitch. Don't be a bitch. And being a bitch is hard, bro. It's hard to be fucking, and it's not being a bitch. It's don't be weak. Don't show your feelings. Don't be vulnerable. But that's what makes me so attractive and beautiful and real. And if you listen to my stories yesterday, that's what makes me attracted to these men. Yeah, they're great, powerful men, supposedly. But what's sexy about them is their vulnerability. I told you that yesterday. You know what I mean? I was like, them being putts is so sexy to me. You know? Definitely like a nerd. You know what I mean? Like attracts like. I like someone like I spoke of my first husband, he read books. I didn't read books, but I found that interesting, and he was always trying to tell you what he read about. That dude would sit there. How you get high on drugs and just sit and read the Bible for hours? I forgot. He would do that, dude. He would just read it. But then he started reading the Devil's Bible, and, who else knows what else he took? He liked information. He wasn't adventurous. He was very shut off. He was very scared. He never left his town. I was the only one that took him out of fucking Dago. And he acted really funny in Colorado. It's like, you're all gangster and shit, and you're acting hella funny in the fucking... Like, it was super funny. I brought a whole Californian dude, a whole gangster dude, straight back to fucking Lakewood. I remember sitting at my at my homegirl's house, and it's like unreal. It's like he's real. He looks like the dude on TV. He's really worse than those dudes. They really live like that. This is just one of many. They live over there. It's real. They just captured on film. It's real. In the sense of, like attracts like. So going back to it, it's like, in my cougar role, or whatever you might call it, is I liked, you know what I mean, as much as it wasn't cool to raise my ex-husband, I liked that role of, you know what I mean, playing the dominant woman. No finger. Come out here trying to be your mom all the time. Well, let me explain. That's all I ever was to men and women and children, is their fucking mom. God made me the mothering essence of all things. I had to mother my mother. I have to mother your mother, bro. Literally. And your girlfriend and your brother. I don't have anything against your brother. I started to think about it. What's your problem with him? I don't know. He's just slimy. It was a DMX moment. I don't really have a reason not to like you. And if I sit and actually give you my energy, I'll talk myself out of it because I know that's wrong. I'm not looking for a reason not to like. It was just, you shouldn't have fucking told him all that bullshit while you're over there trying to hook up with his girlfriend. You know what I mean? You were just a sabotager, like, in essence. But your mom made you like that, dude. It's like, why is he always competing with Russ? Duh. We talked about that yesterday. This fucking sibling rivalry. Imagine that, dude. The older brother. There's too many fucking stories about this. There's too many stories about this in history, bro. You know what I mean? There's too many stories about, he's chosen and he's favored and he's this and he's that. My mom favored my brother. My dad definitely. He cares more about it. Anytime I talked to him, he actually cared to know what was going on with my brother. He didn't even care what I was... I purposely didn't call him on his birthday. The Holy Spirit reminded me, and I chose, of my own free will, to deny him that. Why? Because I called him like a week before that. Who cares? In essence, when you start the conversation, and I'll keep it going. But I've done this my whole life, dude. You don't never call me. I gotta fucking call him. He didn't even tell me... Okay, he did call me to tell me my grandma was dead, but he called me a week later, dude. Well, granted, it was my birthday, and he didn't want to tell me, which means he knows my birthday. That's what he gets. That's what you get for never calling me on my birthday. Now you will always remember my birthday. Damn, grandma got you. Dude, all my grandma wanted, dude, was for my dad to have a relationship with us. And she'd put it on me so heavy that I would feel the weight of it. And that was Buster too, dude. That's how I ended up living with him. I was with Buster, and Buster's like, I saw your dad. I was like, no way. He's like, yeah, you should have a talk with him. He's got a big old house down there in fucking... in Sloan's Lake and la. So yeah, I lived in Sloan's Lake with my oldest kids. He talked me into it. My dad moved me in for a little bit, and it was just weird. I don't remember what happened. I, again, blacked it out and shit. But, you gotta change these patterns, bro. And it's like, I've worked hard at this my whole life for no reason. It's not like, all different types of guilted reasons, but it's like, fuck, I mean... You're not going to be a father, and I'm just, like, not going to keep calling you, you know what I mean? Just keep pushing this on you. You've made it this long, I've made it this long, you know what I mean? I have respect and appreciation for, your life-giving force that seems to be seen in my face because I look like you. And I'm willing to do, the generational work to discover where we came from, since you don't want to admit to it and talk about it. I'll dig up the bones and whatnot, but ultimately, I don't need you. when I needed you most, you weren't available, and I understand if you were dealing with a dominant woman like my mother, who I became. And he'd say that all the time. You're just like your mother. You're just like your mother. You're just traveling all over grab your fucking kids and just take off and go all over the fucking US and yeah, dude, he definitely compared me to her. But then I realized I was very much like my mom, very adventurous, very outspoken, the life of the party, full of fucking stories, very generous, very friendly, willing to do anything, very cleanly, very, the big girl with the big boobs in the room. You know what I mean? Like I became my mother. And my daughter is so like me. She said, oh, it's irritating. You're so like me. She's so like me. In the sense of, oh, there's too much me in this room. You guys want to twin flame someone like you. They're not like you. They're like the parts of you that you don't acknowledge. And that's what makes it cool, because they are like you, but it's a part of you that you're not familiar with. I'm like, Allie and I are completely not alike. No, we are. Deep down, it's a shadow part of me that nobody knows. I'm really that sweet and that soft and that cuddly and that fucking vulnerable and that little guy. I'm a little girl next to Allie in there. And only he can bring it out, where I can't. I just melt. I turn into that person. But when I'm next to Marshall, I go back into my masculinity. I'm a fucking big-ass, badass Queen of Swords beast, bro. It's what you bring, you know what I mean? You bring out the shadow aspect of me. And the point is so I can love it and heal it. And have fun with it. It's fucking fun. The parts of me that Bobby brings out, hey, we're working on those. All of it, they bring out. And that's what a twin flame is it's going to bring out all your healing. And it's the parts of you that you're like, why do you make me feel like this? You make me go crazy. You make me act like a fucking idiot. You're a whole fucking idiot. Act a fool. Is what you get to. And that's it. It's like, I'm not going to do this today. I'm not going to do this. And here he comes with that stupid ass shit. It makes you just totally act yourself. You think you're acting a fool. That's yourself, bro. There's a part of yourself you deny. Kanye, we've seen so much of you. Where's the old Kanye? Who's this guy? Oh, these are the repressed parts of Kanye that he never exhibited to the world that really lie deep down inside of him. He really is this guy. But we're going to fix these things and find out where they come from. And then, it'll just be a funny racist joke all the time with him, perhaps. Like, I never knew Kanye was a racist. Kanye was always a racist. He hated everyone. Did you see that fucking view? I love that. That's the best meme, the best picture they ever made of Kanye in all his career. Where he's at the Met Gala looking around. Like, he put on a smile and he looks around like, God, this is disgusting. I can't stand you fucking people. And that interview he did with Kim, he's like, you ain't never been in the pool? Oh my God, and we don't have a jacuzzi. Like, that's the dude I want to talk to. The guy that's condescending, like, but he held it back. And then it exploded out of him and he had nothing nice to say to nobody. He became this shadow side of him that used to be funny when it came out. This isn't funny anymore. And that's Russ. Deep down, he was a hurt guy, bro. He's all hurt and he's all fucking screaming for attention and all this. And you couldn't really see it on the surface until he brought it out. And now he's begging you to fucking buy his album. You're like, oh, fuck. Your mommy wounds are showing. What do you guys see in me? Oh, man, the Lilith. Like, oh, fuck, she is a whole ass Lilith out here. I know, I denied it. Realistically, I denied my rage. I denied my sexual fucking prowess. I denied my animosity. I denied my loathing. I denied it. I denied that I feel this way. No, actually, I just tried to heal it. I was like, you shouldn't feel that way. I fucking feel it, but you don't even understand it. And that's because I have every right to feel this way. If I wasn't even Lilith, and I told you my life story, you'd be a fucking bitch too, bro. You'd be a hard bitch if you went through that. Good morning. Stop it. You're like, do they do it all the time? Everywhere I go, bro. Everywhere I go. You wanna go for a ride, see some animals and shit? I'm a whole fucking zoo. But especially the crows and the ravens, bro. the hawks and the eagles, all of them, the highest levels, bro, they're looking out over me. They're looking over the whole situation. It's God in an animal form, bro. You're gonna have to learn God, and it comes in all forms. Anyways, that just came up to me yesterday, dude. So I gutted out the car, and I had this like postpartum depression come. I don't know what it's called, but it's a similar feeling that comes over in different areas of your life, dude. So I just call it that because that's what they call those feelings. I'm looking at my car, and even right now, it's like the evidence of my, like the scars of my journey are disappearing. The signs of my, you know what I mean? The signs of what I've been through are disappearing. And it's going, and that was the ultimate feeling I had yesterday after I did it all. It was like, it's ceasing, the memories of what I've been through are ceasing to exist. You can't tell that I've been through a struggle. I never look like I've been through anything. I just look like a normal person. And it's like, down to my car. Well, I gotta do some shit on the outside. I need a razor. I put some it's a long story. I don't tell all these long, stupid stories. But in the essence is like, I sit in it, and it's a car. And I look back, like, especially from here, I used to drive people in this. I mean, like, I can feel the old, what it was before what it became. It's like it's being erased. Do you know what I mean? Like, the struggle is being, it's like, it's not being erased, but it's being put to rest. All signs of the struggle, you know what I mean? Like the struggle. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know how to explain it, dude. It's like you get into it, and it's like, it feels like it'll never end. And then you start coming out of it, and it's like it never happened. It's like all you have, if I didn't document every day, you wouldn't believe it. But I can prove that it happened. But there's no proof. It's like it happened, but it was so big and dramatic, but it's like it didn't. Like, if you look right now, you would not, it's like, I have to change my reality. It's not like, I've been living in my car. Really? Like, it doesn't look, no, you have no idea what this thing used to look like. What I used to, what we've been through. We don't look like what we've been through. That's what the whole point of it is. It's like, it's a whole wash through the cycle, bro. And that's like Loki. I've been falling for 4 hours. Meaning you're just falling. Like, you can't grab onto anything. There's nothing. You finally just embrace it. And that's the tower. It's like, when is this shit? Like, every time I try to grab onto anything, there's nothing to grab onto. And then you just wake up, and you're like right back where you started. Standing on your own 2 feet, told to walk forward. And you're like, I don't even know what direction is forward anymore. Like, where's this North Star? Like, what? Where's Venus? Like, what am I doing? And that's it. It's like you take this deep-ass, dark-ass journey into yourself. And you get so lost in yourself. And you lose yourself on the outside. And you find this sense of self on the inside. And you come out and you're still yourself, right? Like, I'm like, that's that body dysphobia. It's like I look at my pictures and it's like, whoa, I'm still me. I didn't see me like this. Do you see me? How do you see me? After what I've been through. Like, as if you knew. And that's the thing, is you have no idea. I don't wear it. A lot of people wear their experiences on them, bro, that you can sense it. That's what I feel off of people, is how hard life has been to them. But you don't get that off of me. Because it was, life is just hard. And we make it hard. And our thoughts about it, you know what I mean? It's all fabricated in our head that it's so much harder than it really is. Because we're trying to force a fart is what I'm calling it. You're trying to see the outcome and how it should be done. You have this way of life. And that's what you learn, is to let go of that way of life and let things just become. And I had said that in all of yesterday's video, and that's it. It's like, I'm in my Empress, but I'm still me. You don't change, you don't become this fake, over positivity asshole. I'll still give you a dirty look. I'll still talk dirty, talk dirty too. I'll still this, but in the sense of, it's just, it's a lighterness. It's light, meaning you don't have all that darkness that you could snap off. it's still there and you can laugh it off, but you don't snap off all the time anymore. You know what I mean? And you let it flow. You don't hold it back. You can feel that. You can feel your fire coming in, and you know that, oh, I'm about to say something. And you're not scared of letting yourself out. You're not repressing yourself. You're not holding yourself back. You know what I mean? Telling yourself no. And that's the self-expression, is when you don't have to be, everyone else is telling you no, and when you can tell yourself yes. It's not yes to everything, and that's your inner child, bro. You can't let that happen. You can't let your inner child, you know what I mean, run rampant. You know what I mean? You can't have a spoiled child inside of you. And that's where a lot of these celebrities exhibit, is, you know what I mean? They're trying to, make their inner child happy because their inner child isn't happy. And naturally, your inner child believes, things will make it happy. It's a child. If you buy me this toy, have you ever seen them? Like, they just want everything on TV, bro. Everything. They'll forget it, but they want it until they see, and then they'll see it again and they'll re-want it. And that's what I was trying to tell you, is you're never satisfied from that point, and you have to tell yourself enough. You know what I mean? At Thanksgiving, everything tastes great, bro, and you've been waiting forever for this, and there's no limitation to what you can put in your body until you tell yourself. And they'll keep offering. You want some more? You want this? You want that? You want this? You want that? Like, dude, if I can't, I'm gonna shit myself, or I'm gonna have acid reflux or something worse. That's when you realize you're old. You're like using words like that. Like, where's the Pepto-Bismol? Where's the Tums? This shit don't happen when you're a kid. You just eat all kinds of shit. You never see kids shitting themselves like that, bro. They can eat anything. They don't get no diarrhea. They just get hungry. Like, you ever watch your kids? How many shits a day does your kids take? And you're like, where's all that shit go? Like, you're not even going to the toilet. Where is it going? And yet, that doesn't slow them down. If I eat a big meal, I'm going to bed. I can't move. My stomach has a weight limit, and I just put all this weight in there. I can't move it. I'm just saying, you change. And that's where it is you embrace your shadows. Like, I don't want to admit I'm old, but, yo, I am old, bro. How old? As old as the dirt you step on, bro. I was made at the same time. In essence, my soul is that old. My body, I'm 42, and it's been through a lot too. But I'm full of energy. I need a nap. I'm a child. And that's where it is. I am being a child right now. I just need my blankie. I am being a child right now. I just need some snacks. And that's what it is you have to love your inner child and see that it's looking for, it needs reassurance. It needs coping. Your inner child is trying to cope right now because the big world is being hard on it. So it needs some Oreos. And it needs some superhero movies. And it needs whatever it needs, whatever your gig is. You know what I mean? Like, and then there's smart people like Putz is like Logic that sits around and he can do like, the Rubik's Cube. Well, damn, I don't need to do that. I think that'll frustrate me a lot, to be honest. That's it. Is like, what did your inner child do to calm itself when everything was going wild in the house? Now look at what you're doing as an adult when everything's going wild in the house. You still live in there. So, the point of it is like, embracing your demons, your shadows, and making them one as a family where we can sit down and have breakfast together. You know what I mean? Like, you have an attitude. What's the attitude about? It's okay to have an attitude. Let's talk about your attitude. You know what I mean? And we all sit intensive, all of the parts of yourself listen, and, the kid laughs, and the older you smirks, and then the, mother you is like, all right, come on. And that's really it is you're like this whole fucking family, and, you learn to family yourself, and that's where this all started out in my therapy, was internal parts therapy, which is your internal family. Internal family parts therapy. There's parts of you that create you, that is a whole family of you, that you need to learn how to not, push away, but allow in when when the time feels. Your emotions shift, and you have to allow space for those emotions, but directed. You know what I mean? Like yesterday in my video, you'll see the inner child comes in. We're excited about, I'm proud of me because I'm ready to start having intimacy. You know what I mean? And the wise me, and then here comes the child me that's terrified about this next experience. And that's the part we're always having to, you know what I mean, reassure and push through, the fearful side of us. And I had posted that. It's like, I I promise you that my man, whoever this man is that's coming at me, is just as fucking scared. And this is what we have to do. That's the next challenge, is to overcome this fear. But everything we do together is going to be a fear. You know what I mean? Our inner child is scared of, how do I act? What do I say? What if I do this? What if I do that? That's both of our inner childs. Everyone's inner child is a critic. And it's curious, but it's scared. It's very scared. And you have to walk it through those fears so that it can, experience new things. You as an adult are held back because your inner child is scared to do such things. What would people say? They're not going to like me and this and that. And that's what happened. It's like my inner child doesn't know what will happen, but I have to see what will happen. And no matter what happens, show it that it was okay to make that brave choice. And that's any kid, dude. First day of school, something like that. You teach, go take a picture with Santa. No, I'm scared of him. You know what I mean? Like anything. Let's go to the petting zoo. No, I'm scared. Anything. Anything. They're scared of everything until you show them it's okay, and you not forcefully, but, encouragingly guide them. When you have children, they're scared of everything. You want to see the doggy? And they start screaming, come on, dog. No, it's okay. Look at the dog. You have to show them that it's okay. And then they sit there and they touch the doggy, and then they laugh and smile, and now it's okay. They don't remember that they were scared of the dog before they touched the dog. And that's where it is. It's like you can remember back, like, I used to be afraid of these things. I used to be afraid to talk like this. I used to be afraid to dress like this. I used to be afraid. And that's where you see your growth, is how strong, how many fears you fought, how far you've come, how limited you were. Russ, I hear you. It's like, that was that song. What's that song, Russ? I can hear it. It's all I heard specifically was like, I'll go talk to her. Fuck it. I'll go talk to her. I'll remember the song after I post it, Russ. I can't think right now. I can hear it, but I just can't think. And that's it. It's like, I'll be the person. I can do it. I can do it. And you're terrified, but you're telling yourself you can do it. You have to talk yourself, your inner child, through these things. You know what I mean? Whatever these things are that you're like, I can't do it, but you really want to. But you're holding yourself back from doing whatever it is. You have to talk yourself through it. Maybe not today. Maybe not tomorrow, but I'm going to do this one day. One day I'm going to do this, dude. I'm going to do it. Don't be like my mom and miss the opportunity to have those days, Don't wait for money to be right. Don't wait for it. If you do what you always wanted to do, He'll make it happen for you. And that's things I had to teach you too. And, that's where people think I'm so magical. That was God, bro. He did all that. Like, he did this. Yeah, bro, it's unbelievable what he does. Even going back to, the last week before I came in here. You know what I mean? People just giving me money and this just falling out of the sky. God, dude. He knows what you need, and he'll find a way to get it to you. If you trust him. You know what I mean? If you trust him, it's not that he's not going to try to help you. It's that you're in the way. Like, why will he send you help when you've got your hands all in it? He's like, I know this will work for you. It's going to be a lot harder, but fine. You do it your way. And that's just it. You ever see a kid and you're like trying to tell them? And they're like, no. But no. My kids tie their shoes different. I've been telling them my way forever, but they don't do it my way. They still tie their shoes. Well, not so much my son. Be fucking around with that shit all the time. But in the sense of, it's like, doing it everybody else's way doesn't mean that it's, there's no right way. As long as it gets done and you felt good about how it got done, And don't be doing shit you don't want to do just because everybody else does it. And that's where you learn all this. It's the self-discovery. I used to act right. I used to do everything to fit in. And it never worked. And now I know why. When I stopped trying to fit in, I realized I was bigger than the room and I stand out. And that's why. It's not that I wasn't seen. It was that I was the most seen. You know what I mean? You see it in a different light. You see everything. You take your shadows and you put them in the light. You take these hard things, these hard memories, these, it's a fucking crime scene, bro. You're digging up a fucking, you know what I mean, a missing persons report, and you're looking at this situation that happened to you, and yeah, you get totally involved in it. You're totally in your emotions about what you're seeing happen to you. It's a crime scene. But then a part of you steps back and looks at it bigger and bigger, and you become the detective, and you go through this, and you really see, you see the motive, you see the intentions, you see the outcome, you see that the crime has been laid to rest, and that we just needed to tell their story. And that's it. You dig up the bones. You dig up the memories. You dig up the pieces of this that was so, you know what I mean, important about this situation, and you tell this story, and it's done. But there later it happens again, where you look at a part of your life that is a crime. It was a crime against you or against someone else, and that's it too. You'll see these moments where you played the bad guy, bro. You can't deny that. You're going to see a lot of your victim moments, but you're also going to see your perpetrator moments where you were an asshole. You hurt them, bro. And then you have to take you got to look real deep on it, and it's like, why did I do that? And you find out that you were hurt. And then, and then again, you tell the story and you lay it to rest. And it's really that, you know what I mean? It's like, I've said my truth, if you can accept it or not, but I had to accept this. I went there. I had to go back to that moment. I relived that moment. It hurt. I saw what I did. I saw how this played out. And I'm not proud of it. All I can say is that I'm sorry. I was coming from a fucking hurt place, and I tried to hurt you. Is really when it comes down to it, and you see it, dude. You see the pattern. It's all you were doing. You were trying to hurt him. Don't lie. You were trying to hurt him with your words or actions, bro. You were being, you were being a Lilith. You were hurt, and you wanted them to feel it. And that's where it is where you sit down with yourself, and you're like, I get why you did that. That makes, you're human. Humans do that. But we're not going to act in our human flesh every time, And that's what it means, is you're just acting like a human. You're forgiven because you're human, because every human has these feelings, and every human has acted on them, whether they admit it or not. They just don't want to admit that they're weak humans that act like that. But when we realize that we are weak because of what, it's not what we did. You know what I mean? That's why there's all forgiveness in my sense. Where do you get to this place where you can just fucking forgive motherfuckers? I understand them. You can't have forgiveness without understanding. I understand why you did that to me. And that's all you're looking for, is understanding. Why did you fucking do this to me? How could you do this to me? Why would you do this to a human being? But me, because it's all about you, right? And then you realize, bro, first off, almost all the time you realize they didn't just do it to you. You were a long line of people that keep doing it too. And then you realize, why do they do this to people? It's a fucking exploration, and it goes both ways. Why are you always such a fucking bitch to them? Why are you such a bitch to everyone? You're just such a bitch. Why are you a bitch? It's just like, you're just such a fucking cunt for no fucking reason. Why are you mad at them? You have to start asking yourself the hard question. Why don't you like them? You know what I mean? That's what it is. It's like, why are you being mean to my brother? I never asked myself, hold on, let me see if I can come up with an actual reason, or if I'm just being a bitch. If it was just a typical programming that I just treat people like that. And that's where, you're like, damn, you get to it. You put the light on it, bro. You put the light on it. And you sit with it until God makes it make sense. You can't make sense out of it, because you're going to make it look like a bad thing. Like it was all bad. God, make this make sense, why you did this in my life. What was I supposed to see? You didn't do this to hurt me. You did this to teach me, and I got hurt doing it. God doesn't want me to go out there and get my feelings hurt. But he knows every time I go out there, I'm going to get my fucking feelings hurt. Because I'm so fucking sensitive to the skin. And that's what's in the skin. Is sensitivity. We're sensitive to our experiences. And we get our fucking feelings hurt. All the fucking time. But hurt about some shit. All he wanted to do was send us out to school, and we come back all beat up and crying and hating the world and shit. And it's like, it's not that bad. And you're like, you're going back to school tomorrow. I'm not going out there with them. They're mean to me. They're not being mean to you. That's all I can say is they're not being mean to you. In the sense of nobody would try to be mean to me. I thought Bobby was such a bad guy. I told myself, my inner child told me he was. He told me he was all these things. He's not a bad guy. You know what I mean? Russ. I can only laugh now. He's a bad guy. If I go out and tell people, dude, he's a total evil fucking warlock, bro. He is so fucking... He is my dark twin flame. He is magically evil. He's the magical evil side of me. Like, Russ? Rapper Russ? That dude that wears those big old baggy pants with the long hair? Yeah. You're crazy. I mean, you don't know. You don't see what I see. In the sense of, it's in him. He is me and I am him. But you don't, you know what I mean? Going back to it, it's like he's not being mean to you. He's living the best of his life and he's just having fun with you. And that's it too. It's like, I'm being mean. I keep being mean. I'm not being mean to your girlfriend. I'm living the best of my life and, you know, just, you know. Like, she's so mean. You're getting your feelings hurt over this. You really are. You're not seeing the bigger picture. And that's, you know, how God works. And it's true. I'd be like, dude, they fucking, you know, you just don't want to deal with people because people are this, that, and the other. And so you say. And then the Holy Spirit is like, but are they really? Like, shut up, Holy Spirit. I had a reason to be mad at them, and you're taking away my reasoning. Pretty much. You have no reason to be treating these kids like, you know, they're like shit because they're just kids. And that's where you see it. You see the child in everyone. You see the inner child, bro. I see you as I see your inner child acting out all the time. And you can hear mine. But I can see yours. It's all over you. And that's where the forgiveness comes. You know, how do you forgive people? You start to understand where they were coming from. Not that they were coming at you, but where were they coming from? And that's yourself too. When you stop judging yourself, where was I coming from? The fuck was I thinking? It's a long journey, bro. It's a long journey. And you'll get to this place where, yeah, you accept it. You accept the life that God has given you. You accept all of these parts of you that you rejected. You accept the stories that you never told. You honor, you walk in the truth of who you are. Finally. Only just because, you know, you honor who you were, to be honest. It's like you set who you were to rest as you do these things. And that's what I mean. It's like there's no, you know, after it's done, it's set to rest. It doesn't have a place that it hides anymore in me. This isn't haunting me. My mom doesn't haunt me. She hasn't haunted me for a long time, but the memory of my mom haunted me before I healed it. Meaning, every time I thought about my mom, in the beginning I wouldn't. I didn't want to because it was just painful. In the beginning I just missed my mom. And I couldn't allow myself to cry like that. I was afraid that if I just let it in, it would crush me, because as soon as it started to crush me. So I would never think of my mom. I went for a long time not thinking about her, just avoiding the pain. And, you know, then afterwards, I didn't want to think of my mom because it would bring up all kinds of stuff. Now, this is how it works with Bobby. You can see I'm still unhealed. As soon as he comes in, I get frustrated. You have some healing to do. You haven't laid this to rest. You have built up emotions, you know, and I'm like, ugh. All right, Russ, let's do this. And it's like I still have a reaction to you. Meaning there's still something built up, you know. So like my mom, I wouldn't deal with my mom. The memories of my mom, it was hard to deal with because it came with, you know. But finally now I can talk about my mom. And it's, you know, I've laid it to rest. There's people that'll come up where you notice that you get riled up inside of you. Something changes inside of you when you say their name or when you think of them. And that means that you're holding repressed emotions towards them. Later, when you've let all of this out and you've been heard, you've heard yourself, you finally understand why they bother you so much. Why they bother you is because they were important to you, and what happened really left an impact on you. It really hurt you. And that's why it bothers you so much. The memory of them haunts you, right? Is what we call that. And when you go back to these memories and you lay it to rest, then when you think of them, all you think of the good things. You don't have that feeling anymore. You only remember the good times because the bad times have been laid to rest. Yeah, they happened, dude. My mom was torturous, but I had to, I had to face that. I had to tell myself. My inner child thought she was evil and she didn't love me. Society says so. Based on her actions and her words, this isn't love. I had to evaluate our relationship. I had to really evaluate her as a person, not her as I had to see her as a person and not as my mother, to understand that that was just pouring out at home and I was catching just, you know what I mean? And unfortunately, she didn't give it to everyone. She wasn't that person to everyone. And what that means is like, this is real sick and vindictive, and this is where that fucking, that Stockholm syndrome comes from. It's like, your worst shadows come on those that you love the most. Your closest vulnerabilities is where, that reaches those darkest pits. Do you know what I mean? Like, going back to my ex-husband, you look at him and I tell you the stories, if you really saw this guy in real life, you would never believe he was beating the shit out of me and forcing me into all these terrible things, and he did all of this in our lives. Not when you see me. It doesn't make sense. And that's how my sisters and brothers, they couldn't believe it, bro. They're like, no. No way, dude. I used to watch you stand up to your first husband. I used to watch you, you know what I mean, go crazy in the streets. There's no way you let this guy do any of this stuff to you. But I have the proof, bro. And you're like, why would he hit you like that? Why would he do those things to you? Because I would say things that would make him hurt. And he would hurt so bad that he couldn't control his physical, you know what I mean? He couldn't control himself. He doesn't do that to everybody because he doesn't care about what other people think. But when I would say something, it would hurt. It would hurt. And so he would hurt me. And I sometimes, and that's what I say, is now knowing myself, yeah, I probably said a lot of hurtful things to him. Just being, you know what I mean, passive aggressive and going into that aggression and telling him he ain't shit and shit. That still lied within me. I did it to protect him. It was still there. I'd tell his parents, I tell everyone, I used it again. And that's it. It's like, until you get a harness on this shit, it comes out on the ones closest to you. So going back to my mom, it's like all my brothers and sisters have very distant relationships with her. Mine was the closest, but it was also the most damaging. She did more, more of the abuse to me than anyone else. You know what I mean? More of the psychological damage than anyone else. They were psychologically damaged because of the distance. I was psychologically damaged because of the closeness. When she died, and that's what made them weirded out, I had no memories of any abuse. I didn't even know the abuse existed. I really didn't until it started coming up. Lots of it, and I had to see who she really was. And why did you beat me? Why did you treat me like that? Didn't you love me? I was the closest thing to her. To say that she didn't love me, you know what I mean, is a lie. You know what I mean? I took care of her in her dying days. She loved me and my children so dearly. You know what I mean? She just didn't know how to love. And that was just a part of her that came out. And I don't know, because we don't talk about it, but it would have been myself and my youngest brother if he caught the ass whoopings. But I didn't see them, bro. I went there, and that's what had happened when they took me back to my childhood neighborhood. When I lived with Chris, it was in the same fucking neighborhood. That's why they put me there, so I could remember. I was back in the ground where I had bled and cried. Spent my whole childhood at that pool, bro, running from my mom in that apartment. And I learned everything, and I took my kids to where I went. I remembered why I was there and all of this stuff. It brought up all these wounds of what happened in my childhood in that house. And it's like, he didn't. She would ground him, she would take his things, but she wouldn't abuse him. She wouldn't hit him. She may have done it to my older brother before, he took off to Germany. He enlisted into the freaking army and was gone by 17 and a half, almost 18. He was out, bro. He was in Germany. And it was just me and my little brother. But as far as the physical abuse, I don't see it in my memories, but that could just be I blocked it out. I block out everything. He could have totally been catching ass whoopings, real hard ones, bro. But I didn't see it. And it's like, you think that she didn't love me, but that's corporal punishment that you find out later that all of our parents thought was how to punish us. And yet she didn't punish all of her children that way. People were normalized that was punishment. That was how you got. That's, dude. There's lots of old sayings to it, but we just don't really talk on it. My fucking mom would have fucking ripped my teeth out, dude. My mom would have knocked the shit out of me. We never took. We don't even know why. You can ask us adults. We don't know why, but we knew not to act up in public, bro. Like, they scared us. They put the fear of life in us. They fucking, they trained us like it was called corporal punishment. They would literally hurt us to act right. You know what I mean? So, like, what I'm thinking about is, like, school. Do you ever go back and think about it, guys? How you had you just didn't act up in a classroom. You never pushed that. You would never try to push it. You just did what they fucking said, and that's what it was. You didn't act up in the fucking store, bro. They give you one look. Your parent would, that's that saying. They'd give you one look, and you knew they were going to fuck you up. And as much as it was happening in my house, you knew it was the norm. We were getting fucked up, bro, by our parents. It was a way of life. You know what I mean? They beat the shit out of us, and their parents beat the shit out of them. When I got as an adult, you know what I mean? Spanking and fucking screaming and all of that, dude, all of that had to be reprogrammed. All of that had to be reprogrammed. Screaming at my kids, yelling at them, doing all of that, dude, it was programmed in me. This is what we do to handle harsh situations. This is how we handle our children. This is how we handle life. We learn it from our fucking parents. So, like, you guys that are younger, the younger generation that are, my twin flames in the 30s and all of that, you grew up in a very different generation than what us 40s, 50s, and 60s, each of us went through different, you know what I mean, a whole fucking generation of evolution. But what we came from, none of it was good. We learned, you know what I mean, we learned to change our ways and break, patterns, not be our parents and stuff, but we still ended up being them, and that's where it still lies in us, and it's important. My daughter is a whole neat freak, like where did she get it from? From me being like my mom to her. Clean up all this shit. Fucking pick up your fucking toys. Don't you know how to put your shit where it goes? Don't be a fucking slob. People, this is disgusting. People don't fucking live like this. How do I know? I found out they do. Everywhere I went, they don't live like us, Mom. That's what I really found out. But it was too late. I'd already been saying her words for fucking years. My other daughter, no. She didn't grow up with me, thank God. She didn't have that put into her. Some of it's like, thank God I'm not like my fucking dad. Put two of those in one body? Oh, fuck. It might have been a good thing. That's where you start forgiving the both of them, even if you didn't have the other one to compare. When you really realize that like attracts likes, that toxic is toxic, bro. That one, you know what I mean? Like, a toxic girl attracts a certain type of guy. A certain girl and a certain guy are always, you know what I mean? You see them. It's not a fucking category. It's not categorizing people. They literally gravitate to a certain type of people over and over. It's not like you have a type, but it's not like literally it's an energetic type. So do others. Like, you're never going to date this type of person. You have to break that programming. And that's where you see these unique couples. They had to go against the norms, bro. They had to break cultural beliefs. They had to break, you know what I mean, familiar beliefs. They had to go against this to have this kind of, relationship that you fucking think is so unbelievable. But believe me, it was not easy to, again, go against themselves, what their families taught them, and what their, what the world says they should do, and they to follow their heart and all of that. It's very difficult. So now going back to it, knowing my mom was this, and the little bit of stories of what my dad was, and that he tried to burn down the house and all of these things, and he was, he rolled, you'd listen to it and you're like, oh God, thank God you guys didn't just stay together. Why would you guys ever reproduce? My brother said something to me one time, my oldest brother. I think it was maybe on my mom's dying bed or before. I can't, times are mushy. But my dad hates my mom so bad. He stopped after she died. Really, she died before him. But he would be so fucking evil. And my mom couldn't stand the thought, like, if we, like, it's so old. Like, I can't even say his name without you fucking acting like this. And you know what my brother said? And he witnessed it. I didn't. He lived with my dad. My dad was his stepdad before we came and everything fell apart. And he tells me, he's like, you know why your dad hates our mom so much? It's like, why? It's like, because he loved her so much. And I was like, whoa. And it made sense. It all made sense. He despised her because he loved her. And that was the only way he could, you know what I mean? That's all he was left with was these hateful feelings. And I saw it when she died. When she died, he put on his Facebook, which this is unreal, bro. He doesn't even really acknowledge me and my, he doesn't put children's pictures, nothing, bro. Like, they know he's a father, but it's nothing, he's nothing. When she died, he did this lovely shout out to her. He put up my picture, my wedding picture of me and her together. And, it was very lovely of saying, the woman that I had loved, the mother of my children, you will be something. He, like, let it go, bro. He had to let her go in his hatred towards her. But every time he sees me, he sees her. And, it's a shadow. You know what I mean? As much as I hate my ex-husband, he was fun. He was fresh. He gave me attention. He gave me love when no one else did. He showed me, a different part of this world that I wasn't ready for. But he was just like me. He was suffering. And he was trying to find his identity. And he was trying to make a life out of crisis. If you go back to it, that's what I was always attracting. Was people in survival mode, bro. Survivors in survival mode. You know what I mean? And I would always, like, rally the troops. We can do it. We can do it. Going back to, like, even the studio. I have this we can do attitude, and we're going to make it through it, and it doesn't matter what we've been through. I have that Lewis attitude. I know we're not where we want to be, but we're going to get there. Together we'll rise, bro. We can rise through this. We can overcome this. You know what I mean? That fighter mentality, but sometimes you gotta just stop the fight, bro. Realize you're just fighting. It's like, I could fucking keep doing this forever, Russ. I will keep fucking doing this forever. It's like, this is boring. I mean, there's no joy in it. When really, the repressed emotion is, why did I come to you? What did I ever want from you? I wanted you guys to heal and help me save the world. I wanted to help you become great men and show people how to take that journey to greatness. That's all. All I ever really, really wanted. And then my desires and my love for you and everything else, the future possibilities mixed. No, it was not future possibilities. It was past life visions casted into future possibilities, came into this, equation of, because ultimately that's what you were my partners in past life. And trying to attach to you individually in this life fucked it all up, because it was ultimately, and I knew that in the beginning, it was supposed to be all of us, not just, some of us. And, going back to it after a nice good tear, I'm gonna go in and have some breakfast and stuff and start my moon day. But that's what it is you sit in your mind and your emotions on a Monday. You sit in the subconscious, you sit in you. You sit outside of you, and it's that moment where you evaluate you and what you've been through. You know what I mean? And you're not focused on where you're going. You're just looking at, you know what I mean? The places that you've grown. Look at this last week, what you know what I mean? Look at, and that's where it is what do I have to show for it? Dude, I could show my car. My car is a memory that it's all gone. You know what I mean? What I've been through. And that's what God said. I want you to release the struggle. There's so many layers to it. You have to really feel it and let it go. I had to go back to the shame yesterday of telling you being homeless in my car. What it felt like to be so scared to do such a thing, but how exhilarating it was and how I mastered it, and it became a home and it was fun. And I was like, the ultimate car camper. But those days are gone. I'm not going to be homeless in my car again. It's a beautiful thing. But at the same time, it's like, wow, you want it to never ever happen. And then when it happens, you think it's like, it's going to wear on you forever. You're going to wear this forever. And then all of a sudden you realize, it's over. That's never going to happen to me again. I'm never going to pack up this car. It was just an experience. I had to experience my biggest fear and overcome it. I don't have to keep living that. I just had to live it once so that I don't have to be afraid of it. And that's it too. I never have to be afraid of it again. I never have to be afraid that you gotta get the fuck out of here, bitch. I never have to be afraid that someone's gonna talk to me like that anymore because I don't start those. You know what I mean? I'm not in that position. But I don't have to be afraid to grab my shit and have nothing. I don't have to be afraid that I don't have anything but my car. I don't have no money. I don't have a place to go. I don't know how I'm going to live out there on the streets. I never have to be afraid of that again. I mastered that. I learned what it was to be homeless for over 2 years and to live on the streets and never have money. And to have everything my kids ever needed without ever hurting anyone, but doing nothing but trusting God. He asked me to face this fear, and I didn't think it would last for so long, but there were so many layers to it. And when I finally put it on, I was proud that I had come this far to actually do it, and now it's done. But at the same time, I can always do it again, and this time I won't do it out of shame. It's like, you guys want to go car camping for the weekend? I was thinking about, what really hit me yesterday? The drive-in movies. It would have been so much more fun the way my car was. It would have been the best. But I can do it again. I know how to create a home out of a car, and we can go out into the wilderness and have the time of our lives. I mastered the fear. And I was never homeless. I was just mastering my fears and learning how to be self-sufficient, learning how to survive without anybody but God, learning to trust God, learning how scared of life I was and how brave I really am. I would have never gone in the woods. Now I'll sit there in the plain of dark knowing that God is right here with me and nothing's going to come and get me. You know what I mean? He's taken me everywhere and shown me that he loves me, that he needs me, and that I'm protected. I'm important. And that's what that journey really is, and the fighting the fears, yeah. And I have lots of fears about happiness. But the only thing that's stopping me from these happinesses are my own fears. Are you ready for a house now? I'm ready. Are you ready to settle down now? Yeah. And yet I was chasing settling down, but it wasn't time. I thought it was something I had to do. I just had to sit and wait till it was time to be given to me. I thought I had to go get it. I had to go get me a house. I had to go get me a man. I had to go get my life. I was always calling it in. I had to figure out my life before it would come to me. I didn't know what I was going after, and you can see it in all those videos. I was going out after your basic needs, the basic needs of hierarchy. I was breaking through that programming by doing it, not studying it. I had to do it. I had to break it. I had to do these things to overcome these things that lie deep and dormant inside of me. I had a shame about never ever having anything of my own. If you listen to the stories, I could never be stable. I could never be stable. I was always just running around like my mom. I could never build a home. So when I got out of homelessness and I built that home in Commerce City, it was you know what I mean? I built a home in San Diego as well. We'll not talk about that one. But I built many homes, but they would always come crashing down and I would always end up homeless. And so when I built that home in Commerce City, I said I was never going to give it up. And that was it. It's like I was asked to give up the things I would never ever do because I never wanted to go back to where I came from. And the whole point was he literally put me back every place I came from, down to my childhood. But that was, I always wished I could live there, but I didn't realize that it wasn't as happy as I thought it was. You know what I mean? I had these memories, but not the memories my brothers had. I created these fairy tales in my head. I shut down everything, and I had to go back to these places and remember who I was. It was hard to see that this was my life. I was so scared to go back to San Diego. But my kids wanted to see the beach, and I gotta face my children. I gotta face my ex. I gotta face a decade or more of terrible feelings. I'm so scared, but Holy Spirit says I gotta go. And so I get in my car in Yuma, Arizona, and I'm driving to San Diego, which is literally only 2 hours away. It's over those mountains. And I drive, and as I'm in there, I see this enormous cross. And it's all in my stories, dude. It's in the movie. It's in the videos, and I tell all about it. I don't know what it is, but I know it's an activation. I know something's happening. Then after that, I have all of my dead family. The relatives are there, and they're so proud of me that I'm going back into my memories, and I'm scared. I'm so scared. I don't want to look at them. Please don't. I gotta face them. I gotta face them. I gotta face my kids. I'm a freak. I'm homeless. I'm all kinds of things. I gotta do this. I gotta do this. We're gonna step in those waters. I'm gonna remember my mom. I'm gonna remember. And then, as I started climbing the mountains, all the memories hit me. And I'm crying. And I look down, and there's cars that are stopping, and they're overheating. And I look at my car, and I'm like, oh, fuck. As it clicked off, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to overheat. And I'm coming out of this, mode of panicness. And I start realizing I don't need to go over that hill. Something's telling me to stop and go back now. It's so hot. I'm sweating. The car's hot. I can't drive. We're literally now we're an hour away, and I can't take it. And and the emotions that hit me when I started driving and the memories and the family and shit hit me. And then I looked up in my reality and I was like, I don't think my car can make it. I'm watching all these people fall and I'm watching my car start to rise. My temperature gauge start to rise. In the middle of a hill, as soon as I feel this, I see an exit and I pull off. And I stop the car and it's an underpass and I pop the hood just to let in air. I'm being panicked, to be honest. I just woke up out of something and I think that all my panic is being put on my car and I'm about to break my car. I've been driving through the desert. I don't know. This is what's happening in this moment. And I'm like, guys, I don't feel good. I don't think the car can make it. We got to go back. And I drive all the way back. And then for the next couple of days, it all comes to the surface. It's like I didn't actually have to go, and I was so scared to, but just facing it was enough. Sometimes just sitting in it, you know what I mean, is enough. I don't actually have to fully go there. But I had to keep going back to Oklahoma before I faced it, before I cleared my children's name, before I cleared my name, before I really faced it. I was like, I'll never fucking go to that shithole place. Fuck them, fuck everybody, fuck it all. It never did anything to me. I had bad memories. Do you know what I mean? And God had to take me to certain places to help me face who I was, the parts of me that I completely denied. And it wasn't, you listen to the stories and it's very shameful, but it's like it was just a life that I was just being drugged through that I was so ashamed of, and I was just trying to find my way, and I kept losing my, I didn't lose my way, I just kept finding the experiences are unfucking real as you dig it all up and shit. But I just didn't want, going back to Bobby, I don't want him to know any of this. I didn't want anyone to know what was wrong with me, but I didn't even know what was wrong with me. And as I found it, one by one, God would make me tell the world. And I just started wearing more and more shameful fucking things, bro. It's like, please don't make me tell this. I don't want to, I just want to die right now. And it's like, no, you're going to live through this. You need to be heard. Now, in the essence, did I want the world to hear my stories? No, God did, because he did that to me. He wanted to show you that he does this to good people and what the real story was. And you couldn't understand it until I could tell you the real story. This is what God was doing and what he was trying to teach me. And this is how I felt. And this is what I went through in these parts of my life. My life is all glory to God, but it's filled with all this tragedy and trauma and all of this stuff that I denied the life that he gave me. And for all good reasons, as you can see, because of people's judgment. But who are they to judge when God chose me? And that goes back to, you know what I mean? I'm the perfect example of how Christ can make you clean. You go back to my ancient stories, and then you go back to, everything. It's like, how, Christ? It's not me. It's God in another form that taught me how to be a better me. Buddha, Melchizedek. I would like to say all my goddesses, but that's me. God came in many forms to teach you how to harness it, but he also showed you in many forms what it looks like if you don't. He still loves all creation because he created it in such a way. You know what I mean? Everything that's awful about Kanye isn't. You deem it as bad, but it's just an unhealed part of him that looks bad to you. But if you see it in Jesus's eyes, and in my eyes, in the eyes of compassion, which is Christ, the eyes of compassion, you see a child hurting. And that's how God sees all of you, across the board. And that's how he wants us to see each other. And to show that, again, Christ, forgiveness. Forgive them, for they know not what they do. Your children have no idea that they are acting a whole fucking fool right now. Kanye has no idea that he's acting a fucking fool right now. He thinks he's being a powerful man. He's exerting his power. He thinks he's, and I use him as an example because you guys hang him on one hell of a cross. He hangs himself, bro. We hung ourselves. We hung ourselves to die, to be honest. But we can be reborn through Christ. That's this whole fucking shit. You're like, dude, you Bible thumping. I'm a whole witch, bitch. Don't get that fucked up. But through Christ, all things are possible, bro. I can't use all this magic and it be so effective without Christ, dude. You're limited. You have to have these main core ingredients, which is compassion, forgiveness, and love. Those are the most powerful gifts ever given by God. He put them all in one person, and that person told you how to harness them in your body as a way of life. It's called a consciousness. This is a way of life, a way of thinking, a way of being. You spend all this time studying him, but he's telling you how to be like him. It's not like do like him. You don't got to dress like him. Going back to it, he did not wear underwear. It's my favorite conversation we ever had. But anyways, that's it. Let's talk about sexuality here, Lilith. I had to have that's going back to my conversation. Who do I talk to about fucking sex? the birds and the bees, God and the trees, and Jesus Christ too. All things, bro. I go to God for all things. I don't go to you guys. You're misled. You're going to tell me your experience and how great it was and what you did and how it's done the best and this and that. God's going to tell me to go and explore and find out what's best for me. You know what I mean? He's not going to limit me and tell me how to act and what to say and what to do. And that's what I say. I go to Christ all the time. Jesus can't help me here. He doesn't know what I'm going through. I mean, he knows what I'm going through, but he knows that this is my choice. And I have to be an individual here. I have to express myself in my own individual way. I can't do what he did. He's not going to tell me how to, have sex. He doesn't understand anger. He didn't have it. He didn't have those feelings. God, that was the grace that God gave him. He gave him a fucked up life, but he didn't give him the feelings of anger and wrath and vengeance. He didn't give us those things. He can't help us with that, bro. And that's why you pray to the dark fucking gods to understand it. But all they tell you to do is act a fool. That's what I did. That's not helpful, Pock. And that's it. It's like your demons. You mean, the instigators, the intimidators, the fucking antagonizers, the ones that tell me to just do it? Lilith, I tell you to do it. Do it and see it. Fuck around and find out what happens. Yeah, you're going to feel bad, but if you do learn that this wasn't right for you, you're going to feel bad and you'll never do it again. But you'll never know if you don't fucking fuck around and find out. You've always had this urge to find out what it feels like. Find out. It's probably not going to be as bad, and that's it. Please don't make me say this. All right, I'm going to say it. I told you in other videos. I know I was great at giving head. I know I liked it. I know. So then I'm like, I want to see what it feels like. And I go to give him head, and I'm experiencing it. I'm doing what I'm programmed to do. But then in the middle of it, I get caught up in actually seeing it, and I choked. I literally gagged. Like, I had to open the door and, fucking throw up, dude. You're like, seriously? Yeah, that might be why you didn't call me back. It crossed my mind. It's like, maybe he didn't call you back because you gagged. I did, bro. I started thinking about it too hard, and then I gagged, like on a toothbrush, dude. It was terrible. It was like, I know I never did that before. I was like, oh, man, I'm not as good. And I made jokes. I was like, I guess I need practice. But in the sense of, I wanted to know what it felt like. I know I've done this before and I enjoy this and you're the only one I've ever done it with. And if you're willing, I'm going to do it. I want to do it. And you're like, fuck, this is where you brought me to do this? It is broad daylight, bro. Everybody can see me. Fine. I'll use my poncho to hide the front because I do that. I know how to hide the front from my car experiences. I'm going to take my shit off and I'm going to hold my hair. We're going to see how this goes. And that was the experience. It's like, I've done this before, but no, I'm going to try this. And that's why he's like, you should know how this is going to feel. I don't know. That's the whole point. I'm doing it. If I knew how it'd feel, I wouldn't do it again. I know now. Well, not really, because that's it. It was like the first experience. Let me try again. That was my first that's where I'm like, that's why I was talking myself off the edge last night. I was like, what if it hurts real bad and I black out and I never want to do it again? Try again. And that's what I was thinking about the blowjob. I was like, well, that one didn't go so well. I know I have it in me. I know I have it in me. I did it before. I can do it again. Sorry, I didn't want to tell you that. And that's a shout out. You fucking threw up? Yeah, I gagged, bro. I couldn't. I just gagged. I opened the door. I didn't throw up on him. But yeah, I totally gagged and threw up, dude. I couldn't. Like, how big was it? I don't think it was that big. I think I just overthought it, bro. I was like literally too into it. Truthfully. Because it was all fine and then it wasn't. I went back to it like it was okay. But ultimately, yeah, that's not something you want to tell somebody that happened, but it did happen. And it's like, well, that never happened before. I'm a little ashamed, but that just means I could be better. Thanks, Kobe. Hold my hair. In the sense of, you think God wasn't there? He kept pushing me to be brave. You think he turned his eyes? No, it was that fucking Michael Jackson and he was there too. It's that fucking meme. He's in the popcorn and everybody's looking at her. Look at her like she don't know how to give a blowjob. Look at her. It's her first blowjob. Like she don't know how to give a blowjob. Do it better! Better! You can do it. That's my, you hear? Confirmation. That's my soul tribe, bro. That's seriously. Nobody does it better. You could be better. In all areas, yep, you can do that better. And that's just, the way it is. Yeah, he was there too. when you know the Holy Spirit's watching you, you get a little caught up, and it's gonna make you're like, fuck, all eyes on me. Shut up, Puck. Yeah, it really happens. That's where you got to stay in the moment, because if you step out of this moment, bro, you're gonna gag. You're gonna fall on your face, bro. Like, oh, stay in the moment. Yeah, I hear you. They're laughing at me. They were there too. That's God in the bird form making fun of me. They were. And that's just it. It's like, yeah, God was there. He totally encouraged you to fuck around and find out. And he's going to keep telling you to go find out until you learn your fucking lesson. What did I learn? I learned a lot of lessons. Didn't you hear the whole story? It's funny. Where are you at now? I'm buying lingerie. I'm ready. You can't even give blowjobs yet. It doesn't stop most girls. I'm ready. And then the inner child comes in and is like, I'm scared. I'm so scared. What if dude, I saw a bunch of big dicks in the store. I should have been scared. That was so scary. You guys didn't even take that on, bro. I mean, I didn't. They had strap-ons. You could totally take it on if you wanted to. They were enormous, bro. And it was just dicks everywhere, bro. You're like, a man dick? Yeah, they look like straight, like that was the most dick I've ever seen in my life, bro. They were all different fucking, and like, they're like, different thickness, width, and stuff. And then they had like inches on them. And I'm like literally a child looking at them like in a fucking candy store. And I'm like, one of those are going in me? Which one? And you don't know. I don't know. Okay, I kind of do. I'll know real quick when I see the man, because of his hand, but in the sense of I'm fucking scared, bro. Did you see them? And then they get real thick, and I'm like, I know my dimensions, and this is scary. And I started panicking in my video last night and started crying. And that's what I said could not happen when you drop your pants. You better get this all out in the sex story and not do this one. What if I do? What if he pulls out an enormous dick and I just get scared and start crying like a whole fucking child? Will he? Yeah, obviously he'll understand. It has nothing to do with his enormous manhood. It has to do with my experiences. But in the sense of how how intimidating that is for both of us. It's okay. Let me wipe my tears. We can do this. Seriously, pull yourself together, girl. I'm trying, and that's why you're like, why are you single? I've got a lot of stuff to work on. But I'm manifesting, and that's what I said. They're like, what's your occasion? Marriage? My wedding night? Oh, you're getting married? Only in my wildest dreams, but God says it's going to be real. So let me just go shop. Forget it. I had this cool ass outfit that came with a freaking cock ring built on it. I was really into it. And I'm like, what are you doing right now? What if he doesn't fit the ring? What if her ring doesn't fit her finger? Is what I heard. I got fat fingers. Does that mean you're going to have a fat dick? Dude, I saw it all over there. I wasn't ready. And then imagine, it's like pin the dick on the man. What is this? What if he doesn't look like that? What if I was ready for 6 and he's 8? I never looked in that department. I don't even know. I haven't even practiced. I have no practice. Stop laughing. I gotta go, dude. My kids. I gotta go. Shadows. Shadows are your friend. Laters.